story is a tiny bit better, but I need to see it a few more times. Let it sit with me before I really make a final
I think so. Okay, so now that we got through that, now I get to sing "What You Doing? Oh, what you doing? What you doing?"
I really thought we were just going to skip the singing thing.
No way. If I ever get a chance to sing on this show, come on. All right, since you're hating on the singing, why don't you go first, Gerald? What you doing?
I spent this week in California, working most of the time.
Sure.
But at the end of the week...
because your boss is listening. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, end of the week we had company pictures, which is always fun. It's just like class pictures. Like to set to the left, put your head up a little bit. And I'm like, can we take the picture from 10 feet up so you can't see my double chin? Can we Photoshop out the shadows?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and then there's everyone standing, everyone 45-degree angle look inside. Yeah, exactly. It's corny. But and then we went to a LAN party. Played a lot of Overwatch. You could see my shirt.
Now this is a real LAN party. This isn't like you guys at different, you guys are in a same room.
Oh no, there was 9 or 10 of us with their computers. I was using my buddy's laptop.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Oh yeah, and it was in a house in Seal Beach without AC with a current heat wave. A little swampy, bunch of swampy nerds and hot computers.
Hey, that's how you do it. That's how dreams are made.
I'm so glad I didn't go inside.
But LAN parties, back in the day, I've been to a few LAN parties when I was a kid and stuff, and it was like gaming for 12 hours.
Yeah, of course.
This we played that's the only thing we played was Overwatch. We played for a solid probably about 3 or 4 hours, and then it's just beer pong and pizza and chatting and getting drunk and all that stuff.
You know what I think it is? I think it's because when we were LAN partying, you didn't have as
drinking. For one.
Well, no, yeah, that's for one, and then two was the ability to play online games as much as you can now. There were games that did allow it, but it was kind of this.
There were fewer, weren't there?
Yeah, it didn't have the same experience. Well, there were fewer, and then also the ability to chat and the ability to do voice or video overlay, and all of those things weren't available. And it also just wasn't as easy. It was you had to go and set up a server, and then people had to have your host. This whole rigmarole. Where that's why the LAN was cool, because it was but there was also that moment of literally you could turn over to your friend and tell him he's a dirtbag for.
Oh, there was plenty of that. There's plenty of
cursing and
crap talking.
Yeah, that's always fun
going on. Yeah, it's always funny. But yeah, we had a good time. Got a lot for people to buy Overwatch, which is great.
Yeah, that's the one thing about LAN parties.
A lot of people. Yeah, everyone's got to buy the same game.
I bought Halo 3 at least on 4 different accounts because I had a good job back in the day, so I was always my buddy would come and he was like, I have an Xbox, but I don't have Halo, and I was like, I'll just buy it. Let's go to Walmart, and I would buy it for him. So I owned 8 copies of Halo 3
in other people's houses and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's that's my copy. Put my name on it.
But yeah, it's a good time. What time did I come home? 11?
Yeah, it was
AM.
12.
No, PM. I wasn't out that late.
Okay.
I'm 29 years old now, David.
Okay.
Can't party like that anymore.
Listen, party YOLO, bro. YOLO LAN.
Yeah, but other than that, Finding Dory and anything else that we did.
You guys went to Disney, right? Did you guys have some?
We did not go to Disneyland.
You didn't go, but you went to the.
I went to downtown.
Well, Disney. Or Sarah, your name's not Disney. Sarah, what you doing?
Funny you should ask me,
You
Gerald.
can cover all the stuff while I was working.
Okay,
all right, so while Gerald was working, I went to California for a few days, and the first day was a very interesting day. I just want to talk about for a minute. I texted these two and I said, "Hey, I'm at the bar," and David responds,
What bar?
At the Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar, which is at the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah, it's they're if you're at the Disneyland Hotel, there's the pool area, and then it's
it's
right next to the pool.
it. Yeah.
And you can go there even if you're not. Well, I don't know if you're. Are you allowed to? Is it open?
Yeah, it's
okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, you don't have to stay there.
Listen, I assume Disney has crazy restrictions on everything. But
just the pool.
If you're going to spend money. Oh, the pool, yeah.
Yeah, just the pool, not the bar.
It's the free stuff that they don't let you go for.
Yeah,
you have to
exactly.
If you're going to give us money, you're more than welcome to come in.
So I text these two and I was like, "Hey, I'm at the bar." And David's first response is, "And?"
Which
of course cracked me up. Yeah.
I was like, "And so?"
Another day.
Sky is blue. I'm just kidding.
What else is new, you know?
Well, I mean, like an alcoholic.
Well, you said a tiki bar. So I was like, of course you are. That's what you do. You love tiki bars. There's no referendum against you, but it's just, I know you would be there.
So funny story. While I'm there, I actually, I'm sitting there by myself. This group comes over and I'm sitting in this corner seat that, I normally sit at. This group comes over and they're talking about, oh, well, there's two seats next to her and, but there's a table over here with 2 seats. And I was kind of giving them the stink eye, don't ask me to move because I'm not going to move for anybody.
Right, exactly.
I'm here, just.
I paid my good money.
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
You know how I am.
Yeah.
So the 2 guys decide to sit next to me, and then there's 2 girls decide to sit next to the table. This guy gives his ID to the bartender, and the bartender was saying Pixar, you work for Pixar, blah, 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 he was telling him about discounts or whatever. And I immediately, my ears like perked up. I was like,
What?
Go Gadget. Yeah.
hello?
Pixar, you say?
Yeah, so I was sitting next to this guy who worked for Pixar, which coincidence.
Propinquent. Yes.
Like, we were just talking about it last week. So I was like, I have to talk to this dude. Like,
Gotta do
this
some
is-
research.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
like this is too good to be true. The one time, like,
We went to the source, man.
yeah,
Sit down
so
standard on the spot.
Yeah, exactly. Should have done an interview.
yeah, I should have recorded it, but you know, it was a bar, it was loud.
Get you on the
so-
record.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh, you know, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to like overhear you. And I pretty much just talked his whole ear off. His name is Eric. And Eric, I completely apologize. I should have bought you a drink when I left. I just kind of pieced out real quickly, but I'm sorry.
Next
I talked
time.
your ear off.
Next time.
Next time I will buy you a drink. I'm so sorry. I should have done that.
You're
because
bad.
I asked him so many questions. I just talked his whole ear off for
That's
like an
awesome.
entire hour. Like I felt bad a day after because I was like, I should have bought him a drink. Like, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I asked this
If
dude.
you're listening, Eric.
Yeah, if you are, which he said
We
he
owe
might.
you a drink.
Yeah, so he was like, what was this sit-down standard? I was like, yes.
so cool.
YouTube, iTunes, you know.
It's not like I say it 1,000 times. You should know it by now. Most of the time I say it so you guys know what it is, but apparently that didn't work. But
I think we should start carrying around business cards with
Yeah.
sit-down standard on it and like all the links.
there you go.
Yeah, so
I'll
I
give
got
you an 8.5 by 11. It won't be
Yeah.
a business card. It'll be a sheet of paper printed on
all the
Flyer.
different ways
Hold
that
on,
you
let
can
me get out
find
this
us.
flyer. I
thick
got.
card stock. So, anyways, what you were, and then so you text us and you said, "Hey, I met this. I'm talking to this guy from Pixar," and of
Yeah.
course we both were just like, "What?" Like so because I
What are the
assumed it was
chances, right?
John Lasseter. I figured
Of course. I mean, why wouldn't he? You
how
know?
awesome would that be? Okay, so Eric, so you talked to him.
Yes.
You get the lowdown, or are we now officially part of the board, or did no?
Well, so, you know, I told him, you know, we were just talking about our first 8 pictures or 8 movies.
See, we are in the board. You said our first. I like it. There you go. Assumptive language. We'll get there.
So, you know, I asked him what he did, and he basically works with a software that does the rendering. So,
IT guy.
Yeah. So I
The
was
best
like,
kind of guy.
yeah, I bet.
yeah. So I was like asking him questions, like, you know, is that software you guys own? Like, well, how does that work? And he was telling
She
me.
sounds like you work for DreamWorks. She's like, how does that work exactly?
Yeah. I know.
Talking to this microphone, please.
Yeah. I don't have a wire. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, and then he was telling me about working about some of the bars that are actually on site. He talked about the one bar that I told you guys
The
about
secret
last
bar.
week, the secret one, and I guess there's other ones. Apparently, the animation one, like a department owns and runs their own, and apparently the animation one is like crazy.
That's awesome.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah, but the IT guys also have one that's more like tiki-ish, whatever.
That's
so,
cool.
Bunch
yeah.
of nerds.
I asked him about the mugs.
Yeah, you asked him about the tiki mugs.
Asked him about the tiki mugs. Apparently, the artist who makes the mugs has said, no, never again. I'm not doing that anymore. And apparently, people beg him because he hangs out
of course.
at the bars that they run.
Yeah.
So people beg him, like, please make a mug. Like, please make
Yeah.
another one. Please
It's a lot
do
of
it.
pressure,
Please
though.
do it. Yeah. And so he can't handle the pressure. He gets fed up halfway through.
Well, tell me which
So-
ones did they have? You
So they
mentioned.
had the anger one that I mentioned from Inside Out. They did do a Cars 2 one, which is the one that is still being sold.
the
at
only
the
one that's
Pixar.
still on sale. Is the
Yeah.
Cars 2.
Those
No
are
one
Pixar
wants
Employee
it.
Store. And then the Toy Story 3, which was the Buzz and Woody one, which was the one that's like going for like $600.
But that was
on eBay.
exclusive to the animators. That wasn't ever
Yeah.
for actual sale to the
Right,
public.
yeah, that
Okay.
one was only given to staff.
That makes sense.
So I asked him about that, and like I said, I felt super bad because I was just talking his whole ear off.
He's like, damn, why did we sit next to this girl?
I felt bad
I'm
for
sure
his
he
friend.
enjoyed it.
Like his friend was just like sitting there, like,
No, but it is one of those. It is, it's refreshing, I'm sure, for people who, he works at Pixar. That's his job to see, that people really do care and really do love.
Well, he was going to go see Dory after, right?
no, they were gonna do that the next day.
Oh, next day. That's right.
Yeah, so he was excited to go see it with his friends. He had seen it already
Like a press screening, I'm
On-
sure, for the employees.
on the on site for employees.
Yeah.
So he was excited to actually go see it with his friends,
That'd
which
be
I thought
so
was really cool.
That's
Yeah,
so
like
cool to see, like, sit in an audience. Like, I know I've heard other directors, like, I think it was Nolan. I don't know, but like they like to go to a normal theater and see
Yeah,
their
Kevin Smith
movie.
does that.
Yeah, with
with fans.
random
and
people,
they'll do like a
just see-
Q&A before, and they'll talk to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not even that. Like just to go kind of incognito and just be like, I was a part of this, and people are love it. Like that's
That's gotta be, you gotta be careful there, right? It
Right.
could go poorly. That's gotta be, it's a different experience because I'm
Yeah.
sure so many of the, even when you, it reminds me of if you've ever worked on something and then you show it to other people, whatever it may be, and then you sit back and watch it, it's this different experience because you're thinking of like, oh, I remember when we shot that and it didn't seem like that, and the inside jokes that you have about it, and you laugh when no one else laughs because you're like, oh my God, we shot that like 100 times and it's...
Or I remember when this person said this, like...
Right.
It's like us doing the show, like seeing other people's reactions and like what they think of
it's cool.
Sit-down standard and be like, oh, well.
Yeah, it's cool. No, but that's what I'm saying. I think at the end of the day, talking his ear off just shows that they're... and you're not asking like... You're asking like weird questions like, how do I get the tiki mugs that you guys make? And what is the software like? Like you're asking the deep questions, not like, so how'd they come up with Woody? It's like...
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to be really enjoying the conversation. So
that's good.
But, I was also asking him about like how did you get into it? And, we were talking about the movies, about, I asked him like what were his favorite movies. He asked me what my favorite movies were. And
That's cool.
We were kind of talking about the different ones, and I was just kind of like going into like a nerd mode, like like I really like the technical of this movie, compared to this one.
That's cool though.
So I was asking him like, what do you think about this new movie coming out? And it was the most productive bar experience I've ever had in my life.
You got more questions answered than ever.
Yeah, exactly. So that made my whole week. I thought that was so cool.
That's cool. That's
like,
very cool.
And then later we went to dinner with my friend who's from England, and I was like, and I met this guy from Pixar, and she's like, so? I was like, so? That's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm sure you probably made his day. He's like, yeah, I was at this bar and this girl just kept talking to me about
crazy Disney would not leave me alone.
So I was glad that I wasn't wearing like a Disney shirt. He was wearing a Disney shirt, but I was like, I'm glad I wasn't like decked out in total Disney wear.
You weren't wearing all the flair?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have all the buttons?
I have
pins?
some pins, but I don't take them with me to the parks. So.
You know better. People will start trying to trade with you.
Yeah, and you know how I am. I don't like human contact, so.
If you work for Pixar, it's different, but anybody else, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so I was kind of glad that like I was like, a fan on the DL, the down low, so.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was my exciting highlight besides seeing Finding Dory. David, what you doing?
A lot of stuff. Like I said, last week I was going to catch up on some of these movies. Unfortunately, I did not do that.
For shame.
For some
reason. One job for homework,
I know,
David.
but I did get some other stuff done. One thing I want to talk about, of course, I played some board games.
What?
Some new board games. I actually have a prop here.
The week you're going to come in and say, oh, I didn't play any board games, I'm going to be like, David.
Are you okay? Are you okay? No, I played this new game. It's called Last Will. Did you guys ever see the movie Brewster's Billions?
No.
Okay, so the concept of that movie is, well, it's the same thing in this game. In most games you're trying to make the most money. Well, in this game, what you're trying to do, your uncle has his last will, and he was always this not tight-fisted, but he never liked he never enjoyed his fortune. He just worked all the time.
Yeah.
So as he dies, he's like, basically, man, I want to give it to somebody that I know will enjoy this fortune instead of just squandering it or enjoy
what
making.
What game is this?
It's awesome. So in this game, what you have to do is the first person to essentially become completely bankrupt from this. Your uncle gives all of these certain relatives, the players, a
So
certain
we're
amount
all in the same family.
Yeah, we're all in the same family. He gives us a little bit of money. The first person to go bankrupt with that money by spending it on things wins and gets the remaining portion of the fortune. So in this game, you're doing the opposite. You're trying to buy property when it's at the most expensive and then make it depreciate by not maintaining it over the course of months and years and then selling it for its lowest price.
Wow.
Also, you go out on events, like you'll go to the theater
God.
and you'll go to like boat trips, but you can bring a companion, which will cost more, like your dog. I want to bring my dog to the theater like a crazy person, and it'll cost you more because you have to buy the dog a ticket. Or you instead of going in a car, you will take
bankruptcy. Wow.
Yeah, so it's so much fun, but it racks your brain because you're like, wait, I want to buy it at the highest and then sell it at the that's not normal. And it's the artwork is very cool. It's got this Victorian feel to it. You can throw parties inside your house. Like you throw these lavish parties inside your house and that'll make it depreciate like 3 times because you've just like destroyed the house. But there's this cool balancing mechanic because like if you don't maintain your house, it depreciates, but you can spend money quickly to try to maintain it, like hiring a maid to clean up the house, and that costs money, right? But then you can I'm going to add a personal chef into my house, this little mansion here, so it'll cost even more money to maintain it because I got to pay for him.
Right.
Or you can take your chef to your boat trip with you because why not?
Why not? Yeah.
It's really cool. It's got this really, really cool mechanic of, racking your brain differently from any other game I've ever played. The artwork is fantastic. It's really easy to play. It's great with 2 players. It's great with 5 players. It's very fast. It's a worker placement game, which we talk about. There's little spots that you can do things where you can buy cards, and then you do card play. So you're building. It's like a deck building game plus a worker placement game. It kind of takes 2 different.
Very unique. Yeah.
Yeah. So and again, I just love the theming of it, of like doing the opposite of what you do in every other game. Like
what you do in Monopoly.
Exactly. It's the opposite of Monopoly. It's fantastic. Oh, and like you can't go bankrupt if you still have property, so you have to get rid of all your property and then go bankrupt. And the first person to go bankrupt basically triggers the last part of the game, and then you try to go into as much debt as you possibly can. And whoever's the most in debt wins the game because they get the remaining portion. There's a movie called Brewster's Millions, or I think it's called Brewster's Millions. I don't remember. But like he has to spend a certain amount of money, but he can't destroy it and he can't throw it away. So like one of the things he does is he buys the world's most expensive stamp and then mails a letter with it. Great movie if you haven't seen it. So this plays on to that particular movie. So fantastic game. The other one that I played, I played a bunch of games.
What?
I know. The other game that I played, and we'll move on to the last thing I did this week, but it's called Lewis and Clark. So it's based off of the expedition of the West, and it's a deck building game again, sort of. It's also a worker placement game, so it's got some similar mechanics there. It's very heavy. It's one of those games where it's like you have to like. It's one of those few games where it's like, normally it's I take a turn, you take a turn, you take a turn. I take a turn, you take a turn. This game's like, no, you take all your turns, and then you take all your turns. So there's a lot of downtime.
Who are you playing as, though? As Lewis and Clark? Or?
Well, you're different. The history's different. So instead of Thomas Jefferson just sending Lewis and Clark, he sends out 5 different expeditions, depending on the number of players.
So I can't be Sacagawea?
No, you can. You can get her into your deck to use her.
But you can't be her.
You can. Well, you can. Her card is a character in the game. But you use different. So there's this part where there's like this Native American tribe area where you can use Native American helpers to help you do certain things. That's the worker placement part. And then you play these cards, but you have to use some cards to
workers.
But it's a fun game. It's got a lot of strategy, but it is definitely a like an analysis paralysis game because it's like. There's so many things I can do. I don't know what to do, and there's so many different combinations of things. But it's a race because you're all trying to get to the West first and settle and bring your camp. But it has this cool mechanic of like you send your scout out, and if your scout goes too far potentially, and you don't do a good job, then because you're trying to get your camp to the last part, not your scout, and then you try to get your scout out as far as they can go, and then your camp will kind of meet up with them. But if they go out too far, then they get pulled back, and the camp doesn't move forward. It's the artwork in it is great. It's one of the highest rated on Board Game Geek, and I know why. It's got a ton of strategy in it, but like I would not recommend it for people who are not like into heavy board games. But Last Will definitely would recommend that for almost anybody. One, because of how the levity of the theme helps.
I know, I'm like, that theme's crazy.
It's hilarious. It's like I'm gonna go to the theater. I'm gonna bring my dog, my companion, and my chef and my horse. Because why not? It's gonna cost me way more money, but who cares? Because I'm trying to burn through this stuff. So the last thing I did is now I know we caught up on our top superhero movies, and remember I was kind of poo-pooing on X-Men, the first one. Mm-hmm. So I went back and I watched it. That movie does not hold up. Like.
It's so campy.
No, there's parts of that are just brutal.
Now wait, which
Halle
one,
Berry
X-Men
is the very first one. The very first one. Okay. Halle Berry, James Marsden, Ian McKellen, Darth Maul's Toad. First of all, Halle Berry is terrible in that movie. I don't know.
She's terrible in most movies.
No, but I don't know what they were trying to do. They were obviously trying to give her like a unique voice, but halfway through the movie, she just drops the accent and then brings it back.
Yeah. Hugh Jackman. What happens to frogs when they get struck by lightning?
Just like everything else. It's so stupid. The setup for the second movie, they did a good job there. The whole second.
I need to watch the second movie again because I do not remember that movie.
Neither do I.
But there's just certain parts of the movie that I really don't like. And going back and watching it, I get what you're saying. It was like the first like superhero movie of like that kicked off that genre of like silly and funny, but
comic book movies.
Comic book. Yeah. Where you had like, he's like,
Spider-Man was more rooted in reality, where X-Men was just they did their own thing with it.
No, I think they're similar. I think, but for me, the reason I really didn't enjoy that movie is there's like, again, it suffers from like consequence, but nope, we're just gonna wipe that away. Like Mystique is like gets claws through her stomach by Wolverine. And somehow lives. Like what? Like he kills her. Like he even gives like levity to the situation because she's like, we need to get back and recamp, and he's like, well, that's weird because you're not part of the team, and he stabs her and she falls to the ground. Right?
Like at the
and then at the end of the movie, she's back. She's
well,
okay.
They didn't step through any organs.
Come on, man. It's one of those things. That's the worst thing about comic book movies is like we have to kill the bad guy, but we can't kill him all the way. We got to leave like a moment of like his eyes open at the end. It's the problem with Batman versus Superman, right?
Yeah.
No consequence. It's like, guys, it's okay. Just kill off people. Like, it's okay. The best, you want stakes, you want consequences. Those are what make movies interesting and fun. But again, the reason I think that movie only stands the test of time because of its placement in time, not necessarily because of its objective nature.
I definitely like it more because of the memory of watching that movie. It's like, holy crap.
Sabretooth is terrible in it.
Oh, yeah.
And so is Toad.
Comparing it to obviously all these better movies that have learned.
No.
Yeah, of course it doesn't look as good compared to the newer movies.
But the newer movies still suffer from similar, not having any consequences.
Right, but
because we have to keep pumping these movies out. And we have to keep, you have to have
This actor still has 4 movies on their contract.
Right.
You can't kill him off yet.
Right. So for me, I just watching that again, it's definitely an enjoy.
Take you back. You were like, oh man,
I
remember this movie.
I remember it. I remember the stupid thing that like goes out and like turns like makes people into mutants, and it's not explained in any way how that works.
Turn the guy that looked like Jerry Springer into like jelly or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's and then it does play up that whole mutants versus humans and mutant registration. So it helps out the remaining movies and the remaining arc of all the other movies, especially now watching Days of Future Past again. But
nothing's better than Ian McKellen Magneto and Patrick Stewart Professor X.
Yeah,
Fassbender and McAvoy do a good job.
No, but I think Fassbender does
a
a better job of Magneto than Ian McKellen does, and it's only because he's younger. Really, you know what I mean? Like he can.
I don't know,
he seems
Ian
angry.
McKellen was just like. Ian McKellen's just like old, grumpy Magneto. Just like, I don't care. I'm too old for this crap.
Yeah,
you know
them together is like a comic book version of Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
That is the good part. So those are the things I did. So now that we got through... Game
of Thrones, episode 9. We just watched it. Holy crap.
Oh, I did. Yeah, there's 2 other things.
Moving on.
Okay, yes. We watched Game of Thrones episode 9. Go watch this. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's in line.
Holy crap.
I just want to say, I think it's hilarious that on Father's Day, it's the Bastards episode. Yeah. I think that's funny.
That is funny. I did not pick that up.
I thought that was hilarious.
Great episode.
Wow.
And
brutal.
It fits up. It's right up there with all the other episode 9s. Every season, episode 9 is always one of the best episodes. No, this season, this was such a amazing. Also, congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cannot believe they won the NBA championship. No one has ever won comeback. They were down 3-1. It's a best of 7 series, and they won 3 in a row against a team that won more games in the regular season than any NBA team ever. More than Michael Jordan's. Cleveland Cavaliers won against the Golden State Warriors, who won the championship last year.
Right.
They lost only 9 games this year out of 82. The Bulls, with Jordan and Pippen and Dennis Rodman, won 72-10. So they had a better record than them. They were up 3-1. No one has ever come back 3-1 in the finals, and Cleveland did it.
Did they choke?
No, it was a good game. This was like, I think they had like 20 or 22 point lead changes. It was back and forth. It was stressful. Like, it was one of those games. Like, I don't have a dog in the fight because I'm a Rockets fan. So, but I understand. It's just the history of it. You know what I mean? It's like, if you win, like you broke this record, you beat all these odds.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron came back to Cleveland and won a champion. Cleveland hasn't won a sporting event, like a sporting champion, in 50 years.
This is his first year in Cleveland?
No,
right?
third.
I was going to say, he's been in Cleveland for a while.
I was going to say, well,
back in Cleveland.
Their football team
is
so bad that they have to make up for it in some other area.
Exactly. They're like, we don't have a football team anymore.
But how many fingers does LeBron have? How many rings does he have per finger?
He has 3. He has 3. He only has 3 rings, which is he's been to the finals. He's been to the finals 7 times.
Oh, okay.
So if he lost this one, he would have been 2-5.
No, I heard Steph Curry,
yeah.
Steph Curry on the Game 6 got his first foul of his career, and he got ejected by throwing his mouth guard and hit a fan or something.
No, so yeah, he doesn't. He's normally very. One thing that he's known for is being very cool, calm, and collected. Like, he doesn't get riled up. He can, but he normally doesn't. And so he got his 6th foul. If you get 6 fouls in a game, you get ejected. You foul out. You don't get ejected out of the game, but you can't play in the game anymore. Someone has to come in and sub for you. But he got it on kind of and honestly, it was a ticky-tack foul, especially because he's the MVP of the league. Usually they get a little bit more lenience. It makes sense. Like the NBA wants to keep their all-stars in the game. Ooh, what a concept. People get mad about that. I'm like, they're for profit, right? Like don't get it twisted. Like they know what to do. But anyways, he got called out on, and so he got kicked out of the game. So he took his mouthpiece out, and he's done this before, and he throws it. He just throws it, but he hit like a minority owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like right in the chest.
I just read it was a fan. That's funny.
No, it was actually because it's on the court side, and so it's funny because he immediately throws it. He's all pissed off, and he sees that he hit the guy, and the guy's like, "What the hell?" And he comes over and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry." Like it's just it's that moment of like. You get pissed off at something and then you realize like you way overreacted and then you're like, I need to apologize now. Otherwise, like I'm going to really like this. Now I've become
I can't come back from it. Yeah.
So it's this weird like, oh my God, I hate you. You know what? Hey,
I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry.
I lost my cool. I never do that.
But he got ejected for it because, we can't have people throwing their disgusting mouthpieces at fans. And I think he got fined like $50,000, which is funny to me because it's like, do they care?
That's like nothing to them.
No,
it's like when the NFL people get fined. It's like these are multi-million-dollar stars. Like you wore the wrong color shoes. That's $25,000. It's like I'll pay. I don't care.
Yeah, but it goes back to the NFL. So I'm like, I don't. I mean, it's basically
a no fun league.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Cleveland, trust me, tomorrow, a lot of people are calling into work in Cleveland. Trust me, there's a lot of people going to be partying like crazy.
You say when's the last time they won a championship?
Over 50 years ago.
Oh, that's good for them then.
No, that's great. They're one of the oldest NBA franchises not to win a championship.
I was going to say
LeBron,
they're
like,
the
just
underdog. Go for them, but it's like freaking LeBron, dude.
I don't know why people hate LeBron. I mean,
he's a bad actor. Remember Trainwreck?
I thought he was okay in it. That movie wasn't.
He was
playing
movie.
himself
I forgot about that.
though.
Yeah,
and he was bad.
Well, he's a basketball player.
John Cena's way better.
Oh, well.
John Cena is a pretty good actor.
Yeah. Okay.
John Cena. No? Better than me? All right.
Can't see me. Okay, so now we'll go on to I'll do this now that you've gotten this all.
Oh, here we go. It's got to enter a super secret password.
Now you got me all messed up. Here. See, this is why you don't give
David
the
Brise,
IT guy.
69. I'm seeing him type it in.
696969.
XXX.
Oh, of course.
The password's incorrect. Retype it, David.
You know what? Here, I'll do it. Just talk about why you hate LeBron James.
He just, I don't know. He wins so much, but like you said, it's good. At least he won where the team hasn't won in 50 years. I do like that where the Warriors won last year. So
no, that's why it's one of those things where it's like it's nice to see a new team win. It's always fun. You know what I mean? It's like everybody should enjoy a championship at some point in time. But I mean,
San Diego.
Yeah, exactly. He keeled over though in like just emotion, and he won the MVP of the finals and stuff like that. So it's just.
Do you think he's close to retiring?
No, I think he's in probably the tail end of his prime, but he could win it. I mean, he beat the best team statistically ever. So I'd say you shouldn't retire.
His team beat
Yeah, he beat him.
Oh, really? It was all him?
He had 41 points in Game 6 and Game 5.
Holy crap.
Yeah, 2 games he had 41 points. And then in this game...
I don't know much about basketball, but I know it's a lot of points.
That is a lot of points, especially when you score like 100. 41's a lot. Yeah. So, okay. Anyways, let's get done with that. Congratulations, everybody, Cleveland. Let's get into why we have Sara here again.
Pixar Part 2.
I don't know why I'm here.